Here we go again. This is the third time I've tried to do this episode. This is episode 387B of Dylan. The first two, I had an hour before the connection became unstable, and then I had 11 minutes before the connection became unstable again. So I'm hoping that I have more than 11 minutes on this one. I've got 3 full pages of stuff I still need to cover. So I'm just going to keep rolling right through here and try my damnedest. And if I have to make a fourth one, but this is freaking ridiculous. I either need a new computer or I need to do it at a different time where there's not enough people, not crazy people on. It's freaking 11:44 p.m. at night. Why is everybody on the computer right now, which is causing bandwidth to be a problem? Unless it's all about the upcoming snowstorm. But in the end, I'm just going to keep going. Next page, Croc gloves. You have Croc shoes. Now you can get Croc gloves. If you like the Crocs, you can now get Croc gloves as well to match your Croc shoes. 26-foot-long basking shark washes up on a Maine beach. It's, I guess, something unusual. You don't see the sea sharks that far north, particularly around the winter time. And I don't know much about the basking shark as well. We're going to go ahead about that. A Phoenix couple discovered a two-way mirror in their house, which they were not expecting to see. And that's just kind of weird that there is a two-way mirror in their house. There it is. So we'll see what happens. We talked about could be possibly the world's first flying car. Well, now the world's first flying car mobile airport is going to be opening in the UK later this fall, or later this year, I should say, around fall. I guess they're anticipating there's going to be a lot more flying cars in the future. So is GM, because GM is going to be starting to phase out gas-powered cars by the year 2035. That's kind of interesting as well. Valentine's Day is coming. The absolute perfect candy for Valentine's Day is Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. There's now a Reese's Peanut Butter Rose that you can get now. Look forward to that. I'd like to get that for my Valentine's Day, though I probably won't get really anything that I want, but that's the point. Andy's Mint Hot Chata. I'm not a big fan of Andy's Mint. If you've seen the show before multiple times, you know that I have had issues with Andy's Mints. And I'm not going to get much for that, but there are people who do like it, and you can get a new liquor drink called a hot chata with Andy's Mints in that. So you get your sort of boozy hot chocolate mint sort of liquor thing people are interested in. You can also get boozy s'mores martinis now also, the marshmallow sort of flavored. There's marshmallow flavored vodka, chocolate flavored vodka, and you can probably get, whatever the cookie is. I forget the cookie that you get for s'mores. Get that flavored vodka as well. Twinkie flavored coffee. I talked about Twinkies mixed berried coming up. Well, now you can get Twinkie flavored coffee, which is kind of what? It's not coffee creamer. It's Twinkie flavored coffee. Now, if it's a Twinkie flavored coffee creamer, that'd be a different story, but this is Twinkie flavored coffee. Guess maybe you don't need coffee creamer after that. I don't know. First ever human composting site is going to be opening in 2021 in Seattle. I talked about this a few months back, I guess, when it was first mentioned, but it is now going to be opening. Basically, if you don't want to get buried in a cemetery or burned, if you want to go back and recycle yourself to help the earth, you can get yourself composted and put on plants and trees, stuff like that, as compost. Okay. There are Turkish roads have created these turbines, which they've lined across highways and near the water, stuff like that, which generates electricity due to the multiple cars flying by or the winds blow through the area as well, mostly for the cars speeding by at 50, 60 miles per hour. Will start spurning those turbines, and they're causing electricity to be made. Now, times when there's not a lot of cars around, they also have a solar-powered panel on top as well. So it's the multiple double clean electricity making machines that should be made all across the country, considering how people out on 70 behind me like to go at least 20 miles over the speed limit, which drops to about 80, like to go at least 20 miles over the speed limit, which drops to about 80 miles per hour. Just think if you had the whole place lined with these turbines and people are going 80 miles an hour down there, the electricity be generated from that would be outstanding. Plus, you would have the solar panels on there, so you'd suck up all the sun that flies over there as well to add to your electrical stuff like that. Now, Valentine's Day is a big time for chocolate-covered strawberries, but how about chocolate brownie-covered strawberries? Basically, they make chocolate brownies and they burrow a strawberry in the middle of it, so you basically get your chocolate-covered strawberry, but the chocolate covering the strawberry is an actual chocolate brownie. Interesting. Sounds pretty good. Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate bar has created the first Neapolitan chocolate bar. Now, those who don't know what Neapolitan is, if you get your Neapolitan ice cream, it's chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry ice cream together in one ice cream, which is kind of weird when you have chocolate and strawberry. But again, the chocolate covered strawberry thing comes back together. But now the Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate bars have created this Neapolitan chocolate, which has the vanilla, I guess, looks like a white chocolate, a strawberry flavored chocolate, and regular chocolate as well. It's an interesting idea, and I wouldn't mind trying it to see it, but just there's something about I'm not the biggest fan of chocolate covered strawberries, but I guess there's something to that. But I don't know, we'll see. Also, in ice cream world, there are now tubs that are filled with Kit Kats mixed into your ice cream, and the Cadbury Dairy Milk, not the Neapolitan, but the Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate bar is now mixed into your ice cream as well. Zach Braff is joining Disney Plus's new series reboot of Cheaper by the Dozen, which is about a couple that has 12 kids. Don't ask, it's kind of weird. Ben & Jerry has a new topped ice cream, which they have. Their ice cream is now covered with chocolate ganache, an extra added layer of chocolate goodness on top of that. The whole GameStop stuff I talked about in one of my previous episodes, I guess the last one we just did, or the 1 hour one, I'm not sure. A professor is torched for blaming GameStop stock fiasco on not practicing enough sex, meaning they're not people who are spending their times, gumming up the stock market with this GameStop stuff, which I talked about earlier in this episode. They are blaming it on women not giving these guys enough sex. I can relate, but it still did not cost me to create this GameStop stock fiasco, but we're not going to go into that detail right now, so that's just kind of funny about that. Baby Yoda Chia Pet is a thing that's coming out soon. I think I talked about it before, but I think it's out now. Cat groomsmen, a bride and groom decided to let their cat be a groomsman, so they created a little tuxedo and a top hat for their cat and had him there at the wedding. I mean, why not? They do it for dogs as well. 15,000-year-old bison sculpture has been perfectly preserved in a French cave. A 15,000-year-old statue, perfectly preserved. That's outstanding. Chick-fil-A is creating a heart-shaped tray of Chick-fil-A biscuits for your Valentine. If they like Chick-fil-A biscuits, you can buy yourself a heart-shaped tray of them and give it to your Valentine. Now, I remember last year, Valentine's Day was one of the last times I was able to get out, because a month later is when COVID really started hitting stuff. So I had taken the day off on Valentine's Day last year, and I went to Chick-fil-A like I usually do for my breakfast, and I ordered my chicken, egg, egg, and cheese biscuit. I think I have a picture of it also. The chicken for the chicken sandwich was heart-shaped. So I was like, that's kind of interesting that they did something like that. Yeah, it should be around here soon. Let's see. Yeah, that's St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, it's coming up here soon. Let's see if I can find it again. There's books. So it's got to be around here, because Okay, I guess not. So let's move it on up here. Okay, there's Christmas. So it's got to be around here unless I deleted it. I don't think I did delete it, but I might have. Nope, there it is. Okay, hold on. There's Valentine's Day. There it is. So this is the chicken, egg, and cheese biscuit I got last year is heart-shaped. So it's kind of interesting that they did that. And it just makes me want to have it again because I love their chicken, egg, and cheese biscuits. But you can now get your Chick-fil-A sandwiches in a heart-shaped box now. Casey Anthony, the woman who was put in prison, and I thought she was charged with it, but I guess she escaped prosecution for the murder of her children, is now a private investigator who's trying to get people's families back together, which I guess is a good thing. But the fact is, I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her because she killed her own children. Let's see what we got here. Heavy metal knitting is a thing where a heavy metal band is playing a concert while people are knitting on stage while they're playing the guitar, stuff like that. It's a interesting video to check out. If you want to check it out for yourself, type in heavy metal knitting, and it could be a unique experience for you. This week had January 28th in it. January 28th, it was a interesting date this year because it was the 20th anniversary of the Baltimore Ravens' first Super Bowl victory. They won their first Super Bowl January 28th, 2001. I remember my mom was having a Super Bowl party at her house, and it was one of the first of what was Dawn and I, my wife Dawn and I, had been started dating September 2000. So we've been together September, October, November, December, January, February, for about 5 months. It was 4 months technically. It was the 29th of September was when our first date was. So it was almost 4 months we were together, and we had this party at my mom's house. So it was kind of interesting to see that. So that was cool. I was working at the radio station that was airing the Ravens games at that time, and that Monday afterwards, I had to go. We were going to be doing a pep rally for their return to Owens Mills, we weren't living there yet because this is 2001, but it is the old Ravens training stuff is literally about 10 minutes that direction. So we were going to do an event for the radio station there when the buses with the Ravens players and the coaches were coming back with the Super Bowl Lombardi trophy. So it became a huge pep rally. People were gathering around it, and then we saw the bus roll in. And we were cheering and waving, and they honked the horn, and the Ravens were waving at us, stuff like that. And they pulled into their facility, and then Brian Billick was the coach, and a couple other players. It might have been Ray Lewis, I wasn't sure, or who else might have been, or Jamal Lewis, or whatever. It was a bunch of the couple Ravens came out with Brian Billick. They were carrying the Lombardi trophy, and they were in the center of it, and they said, "Whoever wants to touch it, you can." And say people out there touch it. I was able to touch the Lombardi trophy, so my fingerprints are on the 2001 Lombardi trophy. So that's pretty cool. And a sadder note, on January 28th, 1986, it was this week was the 35th anniversary of the Challenger explosion, which McAuliffe was going to be the first non-astronaut into space. It was a school teacher. She was going to do some lessons from space and stuff like that. Unfortunately, due to cold temperatures and the O-rings expanding or whatever, or detracting or whatever it was, it caused an explosion about 50 some seconds into the launch, and it killed everybody on board, and it put a stop to the space program for about 2 years as they did an investigation into what happened, and then they became overly cautious about stuff. So I still say to this day, if it would never have happened, and stuff marched on as it was supposed to, we probably would be a lot closer to going to Mars at this time. And then, of course, we had another explosion in 2001 as well, which caused even more issues too. Maybe it was 2002. But regardless, it was causing more issues as well. So those are the big anniversaries on that date. March 26th is the Disney Plus series Mighty Ducks Game Changers, based on the Mighty Ducks movies that were hugely popular in Disney, starring Emilio Estevez. Emilio Estevez will be back, as will Lauren Graham. Will be the stars of the Estevez. Looks and sounds exactly like his father, Martin Sheen. Nowadays, it's almost scary how much he looks like him and sounds like him now. And I think someone said the worst hangover recovery he could think of from St. Patrick's Day is occurring this year, when the stupid-ass Snyder cut of Justice League has a date to show up on HBO Max on March 18th, the day after St. Patrick's Day. It would have been the birthday of my stepdad, Roger, but he passed away from cancer about 3 to 4 years ago. So he's not going to be around to see that disaster of a Snyder's Cut thing. I've already talked about my disdain for the Snyder's Cut, and I'm not going to go anymore to say I'm here to give you information. March 18th, HBO Max. It was supposed to be a mini-series. He's like, oh, it's going to be a mini-series. It's going to be great. No, it's now 1 4-hour movie. So not going to watch it. Not excited. Could give a rat's ass about it, but I figure I'd give you the information. I wish I could get the proper quote to it, but as long as it's like the worst possible hangover recovery from St. Patrick's Day is having to watch this crappy Justice League movie, Snyder's Cut. Something that's not going to be crappy is Netflix has been working on a Sandman TV series based on the Neil Gaiman comic book, and it's finally coming to fruition as Neil Gaiman and the first few members of the cast. Tom Sturridge will be playing Dream, the main character. Gwendolyn Christie will be playing Lucifer, which is unusual because Lucifer is usually portrayed as a male in the comic, is now going to be female. Vivian Akamapong will be playing Lucienne, a female character that is based on the character of Lucian, who was a male, so they changed the sex on that one. Charles Dance will be playing Roderick Burgess, who will be the bad guy in the first story arc for Sandman. Samjeev Bhaskar will be playing Cain. Asim Sharadahang will be playing Abel, and Boyd Holbrook will be playing the Corinthian. So that's the first set of casting. Neil Gaiman has said there will be more casting announcements to come in the coming weeks, to keep our eyes open. Lady Gaga Oreos are now on sale. So if you are a Lady Gaga fan or an Oreo fan, go ahead and take a look at trying to find it. The Calgary Flames is a hockey team up in Calgary, Canada, and the fans are huge and exciting, and they love Calgary's the hockey up there. Well, there is one guy who took his love for the Calgary Flames to the next level as he turned his basement into a mini hockey rink that is a split image of the actual Calgary Flames home ice thing, but it's for kids, and it's actually looks like it's an ice thing that they can skate on, and they have the fans in the stands, and they got the goals, and it's stretched out. They got the TV screen, stuff like that. So it's kind of a neat little hockey rink indoors somebody's house. Pabst Blue Ribbon is doing hard cold brew. It's their version of hard coffee. Alcohol and coffee mixed together into a hard cold brew. A couple of Aldi things. I talk about Aldi, it seems, every year around St. Valentine's Day. So they'll be selling their Valentine's cheese box again. So if you have your Valentine loves cheese, Aldi, get your cheese box. They will also be selling a heart-shaped pizza for your perusal as well. Your history fact this week: world's only samurai colony was in California. So a colony made up of samurai was in California. This is obviously before World War II, when unfortunately the U.S. government put Asian Americans into concentration camps. But in this case, there was an actual samurai community colony in California. So that's your history. 10 seconds right now. Krispy Kreme is going to be selling heart-shaped donuts again this year for your St. Valentine's Day, which is coming up in a couple weeks. So that's good for you as well. One of the previous episodes of the show, this is the third one of today's show because of technical issues, talked about new animated series. Game of Thrones animated series will be coming to HBO Max. It's like, okay, great, HBO Max, wonderful. Some local news. Maryland is the second most educated state in the United States, says a new survey. Number 1 is Massachusetts, but number 2 is Maryland. So that's outstanding, which means Maryland is one of the most educated states in the United States, the second most educated state in the United States. And also, twin chefs in Maryland start a crab delivery service after losing their jobs due to COVID. They saw an opportunity to open something new that people were looking forward to, and they went ahead and did it. I'm still blown away by the fact that we are second place and most educated state in the United States. I think it's fantastic. Jenna's Splendid Ice Cream, never heard of it before, has created an everything bagel flavor ice cream. So it's basically going to be a bagel flavored ice cream with everything on it, which is onions, poppy seeds, sesame seeds, garlic. That's what I did on when I used to do everything bagels. That's what I would have. So you're going to have an ice cream that has all those flavors in it. So that's interesting. A rare 20 million year old fossilized tree measuring 62 feet was found in Greece. So a 20 million year old fossilized tree that's 62 feet tall has been discovered in Greece. That's kind of interesting. Star Wars is going to be getting a set of postage stamps, but you're not going to see Carrie Fisher or Mark Hamill or Harrison Ford. You're going to see C-3PO, R2-D2, BB-8, all the droids from the Star Wars, all the 9 Star Wars movies will now be on new postage stamps coming. New postage stamps coming soon from the U.S. Postal Service. Plans for the UK answer to Disneyland are halted after a rare spider was found on the site. So they were going to try to build a park similar to Disneyland in the UK. They were getting ready to break ground when they discovered that there's a rare spider colony there that they say we can't destroy that. It's going to destroy the environment. So they will have to find a new site. Mountain Dew Doritos are now available for your Super Bowl pleasure. Birthday cake flavored Hershey Kisses also available now. Get 8 pounds of Lucky Charms marshmallows only from Amazon now. So if you only want marshmallows or you want to add more marshmallows to your Lucky Charms cereal, you can now get an 8-pound bag from Amazon. A new species of whale was found in the Gulf of Mexico. My son's very excited about that because he wants to be an ocean biologist. He has a pride. My brain isn't working right now. It's after midnight, and I'm just not. 4 hours before the snow's supposed to start. McDonald's spicy McNuggets are coming back. So good on that. Robert Rodriguez had a huge hit with Spy Kids, one of my favorite movies. Well, he decided he wants to do a reboot of Spy Kids. Not a big fan of that idea, but he is going to be involved with that. So we'll see. I guess it's going to be okay. Wonder Woman 1984 pushes HBO Max to 41 million subscribers, beating its forecast by 2 years. They wanted to have 41 million subscribers in 2023. They now have 41 million subscribers now, 2 years early. Let's hope that with the arrival of the god-awful, terrible, awful, disgusting, horrendous, not needed Snyder's Cut of Justice League that everybody thought would be a huge draw for HBO Max. People were like, oh, we gotta get our HBO Max. Hopefully they won't get any new subscribers because of that. I sure as hell will not be subscribing to HBO Max until months past when the Snyder's thing goes by, so they don't think that I did it because I want to see this goddamn Snyder's thing. Ombre Pink Velvet Macchiato is now available on the Valentine menu at Dunkin' Donuts. Don't even know what the hell an Ombre Pink Velvet Macchiato is. Hey, sounds interesting. Go ahead and try it out for yourself. Zombie Love Bear from Vermont Teddy Bears is now available for your Valentine's Day present giving. If you want, I would recommend ordering it soon because Valentine's Day is in about 2 weeks, to be honest, maybe 3 weeks. So I got to start working on getting my wife stuff for Valentine's Day to get it shipped here. Obviously, since I'm quarantined right now, I can't really go out and get anything, but I'll have to figure out what I get with her. The big news at the beginning of the week was that the Harry Potter was going to have a series on HBO Max. Someone dropped that, and then it got taken off. And so all these news sites, popular ones, not these stupid fringe ones that actually like Joe Blow and IMDb, stuff like that, said there'll be a Harry Potter series on HBO Max. HBO Max and Warner Brothers like, hello, no, not going to happen. So there will be no Harry Potter series whatsoever, despite what they might have said earlier this week. S.H.I.E.L.D., which is what Nick Fury runs in the MCU, is now an actually real government group that works out of NORAD. It is a Canadian United States partnership. They actually call themselves S.H.I.E.L.D., have a different acronym name for it, but it does sort of similar stuff. But S.H.I.E.L.D. is now officially part of the official of both United States and Canada. As I said, still part of NORAD right now. I have to admit, I've never seen this movie, but the fact that he's considering doing this intrigues me a little bit. Kevin Smith is planning on possibly releasing a director's cut of Jersey Girl. I think it's a movie that is very close to his heart, and he was very disappointed that it didn't do as well as he was expecting it to do. A couple of reasons why is because it really had nothing to do with his View Askew universe, and the whole Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez stuff was going on at that time, and they were in that movie together. Even though it was real brief, they were still together in the film as well. It's more along the lines of Ben Affleck and Liv Tyler together, but still it's a movie that I never wanted to see whatsoever. But now if he does release a director's cut, I'd be like, it might be interesting to take a look at that. Iguanaland is coming to South Florida. Fans of iguanas can now have their own land filled with iguanas live and in person, so you can see them up front in person, which is great. St. Louis Zoo walks penguins to see their polar bears in the snow. St. Louis got hit with some snow this week, and so there's nobody really going to the zoos now due to COVID restrictions. They released the penguins from their pens, walked them down to visit the polar bears, and then walked them back to the penguin pens. Physicist works out math that makes paradox-free time travel possible. So this person, I guess, once we figure out a way to harness that, if you decide you want to go back in time, you cannot create a paradox, which means there's math in there that possibly states that I cannot go back in time and kill myself as a child, and it would be a paradox if I did that, because of also they say there's math now that says that will not be allowed. Basically, I guess if you go back in time, no matter what you do, you will not be able to change time. And that's kind of an intriguing idea when it comes to time travel stories and stuff like that, because you never really consider that, because any stories that talk about time travel is mostly because, man, what would you do if you could time travel? What would you change? I'd kill Hitler, or I would, stop 9/11, or I would stop Trump from being born, stuff like that. But apparently this physicist, November 22nd, 1963, in Dallas, Texas, jump in front of the be able to change the past, which is basically what they're saying. And now here we are 30 minutes in, the connection is unstable. I still have a whole other page. Oh, good. It was only just a brief click out. This it should be. If it was a quick brief out, then I'd be fine. But it wasn't. I've had major issues so far. Maybe after midnight, this is when I need to be doing this show, which is ridiculous. So that's kind of interesting as well. A motorcycle club called Rescue Inc. Saves abused animals, goes after people who are abusers, helps move, gets animals the proper care, abused animals the proper care they need, and all kinds of stuff. Stops dog fights, stuff like that. They are animal activists, but happen to be motorcycle group as well. I think it's really kind of cool. Again, Valentine's Day, just in time for Valentine's Day, Kraft has unveiled a pink macaroni and cheese that tastes like candy. And I was like, why the hell would you want a macaroni and cheese that tastes like candy? You want macaroni and cheese to taste like macaroni and cheese. If it's not macaroni and cheese, call it something else. Don't call it macaroni and cheese if it doesn't taste like macaroni and cheese. If it was pink macaroni and cheese that tastes like macaroni and cheese, that's great. But this is pink macaroni and cheese that tastes like candy. No, thank you. Valentine's Day sweaters for chickens is a thing now you can get for your chickens. You can get special Valentine's Day sweaters for them to take care of them and keep them warm during this Valentine's Day. Tyson's is creating, will be releasing a small amount of heart-shaped chicken nuggets to grocery stores now for, again, Valentine's Day chicken nugget fans. So go ahead and check that out for yourself if you are if you want to do something different and interesting for St. Valentine's Day. There you go. But hey, we've been talking okay, here's another one. Dairy Queen's Red Velvet Cake Blizzard is a new thing. Red Velvet Cake is a chocolatey dessert that a lot of people love. It's also considered a simple type of dessert that is a big Valentine's Day sort of thing. Well, now you have this blizzard that is a Red Velvet Cake Blizzard, which is really cool for fans who like that. I don't know what that is. The $1 billion Mega Million jackpot was claimed in Michigan. I don't know if I mentioned that in last week's episode, but I just wanted to bring it up there. We've been talking a lot about St. Valentine's Day. Actually, real quick, Starbucks raspberry chocolate frappuccino is now something you can get for Valentine's Day. What about Valentine's Day? Let's talk about Easter here. Last year for Easter, the Peeps, which are considered an Easter classic, were not released due to COVID issues. Well, this year, Peeps are back, baby. So go ahead and go out and get your Peeps and enjoy them. They will be available for Easter this year. Rare albino squirrel has been discovered. So that's interesting there. Borderland film cast Kevin Hart as Soldier Roland. I don't know much about Borderland, but Kevin Hart in a video game movie. Okay. I love Titan, the moon of Saturn. I talk about it all the time. It is the only body in our universe that we know of right now that has liquid water, liquid on its surface, liquid lakes, rivers, streams like that. Titan has these in spade, though it is not water like it is on Earth. It is a different type of liquid chemical. Well, a new discovery is that the largest sea on Titan could be more than 1,000 feet deep. Now, nobody thought it would be that deep because who thought that there'd be that much liquid of this sort of on the surface? Well, apparently it is very similar to Earth in the fact that 1,000-foot deep lake of their chemical liquid is now out there too. Astronomers have detected the first ever radio emissions from an exoplanet. So that could either just be just the way things are, could be someone trying to contact us. That's to be continued. Humans used to be able to hibernate. I wish we could hibernate like bears. We just get ourselves stuffed up, right around Thanksgiving and then just sleep through February. Don't worry about anything, and this world might be a better place. Of course, we'd miss Christmas, but what can we do? I don't know what this is, so I'm just going to put a question mark next to that. Octopus-like creatures could inhabit Europa, or Europa's ice oceans. That's one is theorized that Europa, one of the moons of Jupiter, is going to have, I don't know what it is now, is going to have liquid underneath the frozen surface. They've noticed weird cracking and stuff like that. So they believe there's actually a vast ocean on the moon of Europa. And now a scientist believes that if they get there, it's going to be similar to our Earth, where heat from the core of the Earth warms up the ocean, and certain creatures live around them. They believe that there could be something similar on Europa, meaning that the reason why the oceans are still flowing underneath is because there's a warm area underneath the frozenness of Europa. So people believe that an octopus type creature could live dirt that was on Mars. And crap, I only have a few more to do. And okay, so now it has stopped trying. It is done. It's no longer working on that anymore. New Zealand shuts down road for a month to allow pregnant sea lions to migrate and have their babies and not deal with cars possibly running into them and destroying them. AMC, the movie theater chain, was involved in this whole GameStop stock stuff, has also had their bankruptcy been taken off the table. Someone has dropped $912 million on them to get them out of bankruptcy. So hopefully they'll be taken care of. Tomb Raider 2 will be directed by Misha Green from Lovecraft Country. The new version, not the Angelina Jolie versions. Coke Coffee is out this week. So if you want some Coke and coffee together, you can get that as well. I wouldn't mind trying that, see what that's like. Monsters Inc. was a successful Pixar film. This is going to be a TV show using the voice of John Goodman and Billy Crystal, and seeing what happens after Monsters. A grocery store installs glass floor so people can look at the 11th century Viking house that's buried underneath it. So basically there's an 11th century Viking house buried under the ground. They built a grocery store on top of that, but in order to keep people a chance to see the house, they made the floor glass so you could actually see the historical thing. That's a different way of doing things, but okay. High school students band together to create a Back to the Future monument for their school for whatever reason. Godzilla versus King Kong trailer came out this week. The date has been moved from March 26th to March 31st. The trailer looks like an action-packed battle between King Kong and Godzilla, which Godzilla is going to be playing the bad guy again. So we'll see what happens. Lay's brings out bacon-wrapped jalapeno popper chip flavor. Dogs are back in the White House this week. President Biden's dogs are now residents of the White House. Now, the first time we've had dogs in 4 years. So good on that. Buffalo Wild Wings will be offering free wings again this year if the Super Bowl goes to overtime. 70 tiny birds are filmed in a room filled with electric guitars, and the birds flying around, landing on the guitars, play them to some interesting type music. First Pokemon trainers to hit the new level 50 have happened this week due to a glitch that caused them to bypass level 49. So technically they're not really level 50, but they are level 50. The Detroit Lions have traded their longtime quarterback Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams for 2 first-round draft picks and the Los Angeles Rams quarterback Jared Goff. So that's an interesting trade that hit right before I did the show. Dead whale in the Mediterranean, which was discovered, is one of the largest on record of dead whales. And finally, I got through this episode, thankfully, about a 2-hour episode if you look at it. Ex-Chiefs running back Larry Johnson says the NFL is scripted, hence Tom Brady being in the Super Bowl again this year after leaving the Patriots after 20 years with them and now being in the Super Bowl with his first team for his first year. That is scripted because that's what they wanted, and that Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, and Rob Gronkowski, all members of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are part of the occult. Yeah, it makes sense. So a highly upsetting 3 episodes with technical issues has now come to an end. This is the last episode of January 2021. Next week's episode I will probably do on Man Day, Super Bowl Sunday, February 7th. We'll see how things go about that. I'll be over my quarantine, hopefully, and things will be going good. So I got one more week in quarantine. We've got possibility of major snowfall hitting. So those are the 2 big stories I'll be talking about next week, as well as the Super Bowl and Super Bowl commercials, I guess, and anything else that comes out. So finally done. Let's get this over with. I want to go to bed as soon as possible and wake up, and then we'll find out. So until then, take care. Farewell, January. We won't see you again till 2022. Thank you. Well, actually, tomorrow's the last day of January, to be obvious, but whatever.